watched a lot of his movies without realizing it was him. Like the Most Barbarian, Companion, and Weapons. They're all good. Like those three, I would recommend all three of them. So, we're live. Welcome to our recording. Today, we're talking about the movie Weapons by Zach Greger.
For those of you who can't read,
I was kind of hoping you were going to just say weapons, not movie, so that we could like have a segue into talking about melee versus ranged combat versus
should we talk about knives? I mean, I've got like assorted, you know.
Apparently, I stumbled into a topic that Justin's really been dying to cover.
Let me show you my kukri.
It's a mixed bag.
Let me show you my katana
about Nerf weapons. So
no, get out the super soakers. Let's go old school.
We're on the wrong side of Labor Day for that now. So,
right. But seriously, go into this movie blind if you haven't watched it. Go watch the movie, then come back.
Seriously.
Yeah, watch it in Braille. Don't even watch it.
Yeah. Now, I mean, it's a horror movie, right? So go in expecting that. If you're squeamish, then expect some things. So
I would say it's violent and bloody in terms of horror movies, right? But I didn't think it was a particularly scary movie. Like it didn't really do a lot of the
and it's weird. It has a very strong, uncanny feeling of like what
my dude's
fuck,
never had somebody run up on him at the gas station before.
Yeah, seriously. and
well, I mean, if you're going to turn the Naruto run into something scary, this would be the one to do it with.
Well done.
It's true. Yeah.
No, it's more. I mean, you're not going to get a huge amount of like jump scares in this. I think there's 2 or 3. There's not a big amount, which I appreciate.
That's fair. I mean, it had more to do with the nightmares,
Yeah.
So
like there's the one real prominent one when she's waking up from that, and then there's the one where
the very first one actually got me to audibly say "what the fuck" and then rewind, to take a look at what just happened.
It was the second nightmare, the Josh Brolin nightmare. Like that was me going like, "What the fuck was going?"
Yeah. There were actually a couple of notable "what the fuck" moments, but the second one wasn't even a jump scare. But where I was like, "Shit, I got to rewind that" because that was so instant,
Yeah, I actually did rewind it too a little bit, just of like, did I actually see something? What just happened? And then
right.
It's a horror movie of a very strong "what the fuck" flavor, not the same thing as gruesome or
right.
Not a whole lot of jump scares. But it that's very strong. It's when
I mean it's a better kind of horror to me. I mean, jump scares are they're cheap. They work, but they're cheap. And it's just you get that momentary and it's like, okay.
Yeah, the
thanks.
more
afterward now you've just annoyed me.
Yeah,
right.
Yes. There were more scary moments where the suspense building as you learn more things of like when the significance of someone's hair being taken or right. Like now somebody is moving a little bit differently and that means something bad is happening even though the characters don't quite get it yet. And
I mean, let's talk about that because that to me was one of the best surprises of the movie was the fact that it was told from like 4 or 5 different perspectives. And so like as you're going through, it's like, cool, it's not just going to be a mystery. We're going to get the stuff layered on top. And so you get Silver Surfer's perspective and then you get Thanos's perspective. And then it's worth noting that these actors and actresses have been in other things, but
that isn't him.
What do you mean?
That's not Sebastian Stan.
Well, Sebastian Stan doesn't play
Alden Ehrenreich.
Yeah,
I thought it was too, but it's a completely different actor. They just look very similar.
No. Yeah, you're talking the cop, right? Yeah. So
yeah.
So
he plays shitty Han Solo.
Fun, and Stain's kid. So still a Marvel reference. So suck it.
That's true. That's right.
That's talking about Josh Brolin, right?
Yeah, sure, he's Thanos. Yeah, but he's not Silver Surfer.
That's what I said. Yes.
No. Julie Garner is Silver Surfer.
Oh,
in the movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm behind.
And then you have
that I stretched your knowledge a little bit, but
and then you have Wong. I mean, 4 of the 5 storylines are all Marvel characters,
which I assume is a happy accident, and because they're great actors, and you should see everything.
Because Marvel take all the great actors, right? So
they might as well.
They've always been
or
very good
do they make them?
No, they're very good at casting. I'll give them that.
Right.
They've always been good at casting. But nobody knows Julie Garner for Silver Spoon.
That was probably
Well,
one
they
of the
should.
things like that got to me the most. Not the horrors, but just like empathy wise, was Wong and his husband at home, just having a chill day, and it's just, I was thinking, oh man,
Yeah,
poor guys.
Yeah, Marcus is like one of my favorite characters across the board.
It's certainly the most
Benedict Wong's.
sympathetic.
Well, yeah, just everything, right? Because he's also your canary, like, right? That it's like, I mean, obviously, what happens at the at the gas station is like a huge clue, but it's like also bake it apart across the fact that it's like this man has gone out of his way to be the most reasonable and empathetic person in the movie, and now he's gonna smash your face in. Like, obviously something has gone horribly wrong here, so
yeah, the as soon as like you see Josh Brolin's talking in that meeting, but it's not focused on him because it's still focused on Julia Garner. It's like that's when you know, okay, they're going to go into different stages of these different characters. You'll see him eventually, but after the gas station attack, and then it goes to, I think, James the addict, and he's like, "Can we get back to Marcus, please?" Like, I feel sorry for James, but like, what the fuck is happening over there?
Well, because Marcus, he's not an integral character, though, right? He was an opportunity, and his story really just wasn't that important to what was going on. But it was like, it wasn't important in moving the story forward, but it was important in escalating it, right?
Yes.
I don't know a better way to describe it, but it's like, at the end of the day, Marcus was an administrator. He was trying to be reasonable. He was trying to do the best job for everybody involved. And then he gets ganked. That's what happens, right? Like, he is not moving the plot, and like the only reason why like any of the other characters wind up moving the plot is because they are investigators, right? In one way or another, Julie Garner's character Justine takes it upon herself to figure out what happened to her kids, not least of all because it's personally impacting her, as in the townspeople think she did it. Josh Brolin's character Archer literally has skin in the game, whereas all the other parents seem to want to just like let the cops handle it. He's very much, Ronin. He's very much going on his own and whatever. The cop is a cop, so he gets pulled into things, right?
Yeah, he was
like
having
Marcus's character was like
day.
Right, yes. Like bad couple of days, right? And I loved the detail too, because like I watched through about a third, maybe a little under half of the movie, and then restarted it with my buddy. And when you see him meet Justine at the bar, and like the scenes are different, mind you, very subtle differences from their remembering, but also his throwaway line of like, "Oh, what happened to your hand? Oh, it just some work accident." I was like, right, buddy, right. I was like, holy shit, just these little subtle things that are peppered through, the story was a lot of fun. But
do you remember any of the differences? Because I don't remember noticing that they experienced that differently. Like,
pay attention to how they hug in their different perspectives. That's the biggest tell. And I think I actually picked that up from the trivia. So, so there's that. That's why we should read trivia while we watch the movies and stuff. But I think it's like, I can't remember which one. It's like, from her perspective, it's a quick little hug and then gone. And from his perspective, it lasts like a minute, or something like that. And so like, it tells you differences about how these characters feel about each other and their perspective. And it's kind of funny to lean into that, like as a director, because like, it's not like Paul gets to write down his story afterwards or whatever. Right. But,
well, I mean, and you see the difference of their night together too. It's like with her, it just kind of skips to the morning.
Right.
Yeah, she enjoyed the, like, I don't know, back when they were a couple, everything felt normal, and like kind of like picking on him a little bit. And he says that like, oh, you're just the same as you've always been, with the wake up song. And it's just so annoying.
Right.
But he had much more primal male brain, like self-destructive, but needs nourishment kind of thing.
Dude has vices, he has many vices, and and he is not in the right position to be,
to give Marcus's storyline slightly more credit. Not that I'm saying you weren't, but I mean, without him, the plot does kind of rely on him in the sense that, one, it gets the connection of her and Thanos together, right? Like, so at that point they're adversarial because he's suspicious of her and accusatory of her. Then he attacks, so he gets to see both the run and the fact that she's getting attacked like that. And then that makes him show her the video and then show her the map, or at least show her the map, tell her what happens in the video. And then she's able to be like, oh, this is where the kid's house is, which, I mean, yeah, would he have figured that out and gone along with it eventually? Sure, but now it's the two of them together, which is because everyone else going in alone is what gets them fucked over. The cop going in and then the junkie getting dragged out and
yeah, I mean, it almost didn't work with them going in together either.
Right. So, well, yeah, he was going to die, but for the fact
that it only worked out because of the kid, right?
Yep.
Well, that too.
Can't leave your hair lying around.
Yeah.
Or your magic plant.
When Josh Brolin, like, he sees her getting attacked by Marcus, and there's something completely fucking wrong, and he, after almost attacking her himself, he's like, "Oh, okay, no, I gotta help her." And they join forces, and by that point they know to be suspicious. No one else went into that house suspicious, and that's the problem. Because in a normal situation, like when she went to Marcus's house, is like, give me a bowl of water, and you're just like going to be polite because that's what you do with people, and until something goes way too wrong. But they knew to be on guard.
Like just for any kids who might be listening or watching at home. So like when a witch asks for a bowl of water and she starts doing magic, you tip over the bowl of water. I'm just saying. You turn into a cat and you just be like, boop, okay, now what? I'm just...
Actually,
they were very accommodating.
Putting things in the bowl of water dispersed the spell. That was way more important.
Sure. Yeah. Well, yeah, it was like dunking her wand or whatever, right? Or
cleaning off. Kind of like reset, like water being a purifying force kind of thing.
Sure.
Stopping the spell.
Yeah. And speaking of that scene, and I'm sorry because I do love this movie and whatever, but I'm going to be critical for a minute. Why was Wong's character the only one that did the like oily vomit? Like, what the fuck was that about? So that was kind of funny. That it was like in hindsight was like,
I don't know if that's supposed to be like when they get sick, because I don't know, I guess you could argue there's a subtle difference between she sends him into attack mode immediately versus the kids, which is she's just summoning, and maybe they did that later. I don't know. I think it was just there for the sake of being there.
I think the reason's the 7 hot dogs. I think that's the reason. So.
Yeah, but
he hadn't had a chance to eat them yet.
He was really excited to.
You think that was his first time, right? Yeah, it's like you don't
ever eating hot dogs. No, that day I think he was waiting on I don't think he was that excited if he had already.
Well, yeah, but
7 hot dogs.
Did he eat 7 hot dogs yesterday? Is what I'm getting at. Is that no normal lunch?
No, because that was.
First of all, they were 2, right? So it was more like 4 for Wong, 3 for.
Yeah, sure.
Not Wong.
Wong's husband. You could just say that.
Wong got not,
or partner.
Remembers his name.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because he was on screen for 5 minutes, long enough to get murdered by Wong very tragically, and
not even 5 minutes.
Not eat 3 hot dogs. So, but yeah, the 7 hot dogs thing apparently is a throwback to Whitest Kids You Know, which is where the director, like, he was involved with that. So there's probably maybe the black vomit's a joke from that or something that I don't remember, but
there you go.
But yeah, so it seemed odd because it was like everything else, more or less followed, right? Trying to put together the magic system a little bit, because it's like she needs to have a personal effect in order to thrall you. And apparently it does not take very much time, or Josh Brolin is just going to sit there and watch an old lady hex him instead of punch her, because he gets turned like instantly. And then it seems like the whole, like, turning them into murder machines requires the wand for some reason, and the blood and the hair as a focus, right? But it was kind of interesting trying to put some of this stuff together,
Yeah, the hair is required for the target, but she didn't have Wong's hair to weaponize him. She had a ribbon from him, so the hair doesn't need that. But yeah, and
that's what the kid had to get all the items. It wasn't their hair. It was you got the items from all the kids
just
to get them
nameplates.
thralled. And then the hair is what you're latched onto as the victim. the target.
Yeah, I like that as a differentiation. Like, you don't need hair to weaponize. You need just an item. It was an interesting difference. But like, so Marcus is like the most blameless of the characters. He did everything right as much as he could. Justine, she's not a terrible person, but I just had like staking out the house, pouring vodka into a big gulp, falling asleep in front of creepy house when she knows creepy shit is happening. It's like,
right.
Abed would have words to say to this bad horror character person.
She's a mess at a minimum, right? But following children home from school, whether you were their teacher once upon a time or not, is over the line. And there were many times during her story where I was like, what the fuck are you doing? And not just like sleep in front of the house, but clearly with the doors unlocked as well, right? That it's like, I get that you're in small town and whatever, but like, like what exactly are you expecting here? Like, I mean, it's honestly, help. I'm writing myself into a corner by saying this out loud. Help me understand why they stole her hair instead of just straight friggin' murder her. Like, is the idea that it's like, well, I'm going to kill you later in a public place that doesn't draw police attention to the house? Maybe.
I mean, yeah,
like,
I guess.
Because otherwise you go from like mustache twirling bad to actually like, oh shit, that's like Peter's evil overlord list paying attention,
Maybe there was
like,
a thought of casting Marcus as the bad guy who did all of the evil things, including stealing the children.
Maybe, yeah.
He kills his husband, he kills her, everything's creepy, and then, well,
yeah, because if he very publicly goes insane and he's the principal of that school, and the parents were already happy to blame the teacher at a minimum, or at least be suspicious of her. And so now you get, I mean, yeah, because she's pretty quick, the aunt, to get out of Dodge when the heat's like, she's ready to leave that night or the next day because now there's too many people coming to the house. And it just happened to be a trickle thing that she was able to control them. But
I mean, it could be as simple as, I'm a witch. I know how to do magic. I don't consider solving this in a non-magical way. It could be just be that, like, right.
Well, but she had the zombie in.
I was going to say, yeah, it's the same. It's the same magical way. It's either this zombie with the scissors kill her, or another zombie Naruto runs and tries to choke her to death.
Right.
So it's got to be the proximity thing, because then she's got to move the car and clear up a very bloody mess.
Sure. Yeah. Right. I could buy that. I would feel better about it if she had explained it to like the kid or something. It was like, it's one of those, it's a movie, it's got to be on screen for it to count, so she's like,
I'm okay with her not explaining it to I get what you mean, but like, because that to me is,
who else she gonna tell it to? The zombies?
Yeah, but then it's just it's doing it for the sake of the audience, for the people who need it. No,
me.
Not everything needs. You can extrapolate a little. I believe in you.
It's a little. It's about me. It's about me.
I know you are the problem. It's you.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm the problem. It's me.
No, you didn't need. See, again, you didn't leave it. You just the audience knew, and you just couldn't leave it.
So, where was I going to go with this? I don't know. So many layers. Like, I liked the horror of finding out the parents when I thought that they might have been tattooed in some way, and that was part of the magic, but instead it turned out to be pincushioning. Like, that was fucking horrific. I was like, oh, that's way worse than what I thought it was. Like, I loved the aunt and like everybody just being completely unassuming, and Wong sticking to his guns, even where it was like, you're not his legal guardian. I remember
he was good.
Yeah.
Like saying, no, I have to speak to his legal guardian. You do not suffice.
Yeah. And I loved the, I loved asking a minimum of 3 times during the movie, is like, wait a minute, nobody's seen his parents in how long? And the kids have been missing for a month. And then they kind of like put that into the end of the story, because it's like, no, we thought of that too, and whatever. And just have him show up and be like, sorry, he's just really sick and I'm getting better, and nobody should look into that too much, so.
But I guess there was a question of, so the parents clearly stopped showing up to work. Maybe the wife didn't work.
Right.
That was one thing.
Right.
But then in Alex's perspective, they're like, he's going to the store every day to buy soup. And like in the opening narration with the kids saying of like the town won't talk about it because they're too embarrassed. They should be fucking embarrassed with the fact that the only kid that survived is the one that people are like, don't bother him too much. Let him be a kid as much as he can be. Okay, but he's going to the store alone without his parents in a small town to buy an enormous amount of soup every day. And no one asked the question of like, maybe there's something weird there.
They got consumption, which was fucking hilarious for like 3 ways. Like, what a perfect answer for the movie, right? Because it's like, it's old timey. It's what's actually literally happening.
It's what she's doing to them.
Yeah, exactly. It was so perfect. But yeah, I mean, it just, they like she took advantage of people's just nature, I guess. But yeah, it does strike me as odd as like, really the only family that wasn't like beset by whatever happened and didn't have their kid run off. Like, I know they like interviewed the kid and the family and whatever, and like they, towards the end of the movie, there's so much emphasis put on, the acupuncture thing, and just be like, your parents' lives are forfeit if you tell anybody. But it's like, guys, like when the breadcrumbs lead up to the witch's house, like you've got to pursue the lead. It can't be like, geez, well, I don't know, this 8-year-old says that it wasn't her, so about your business, guys, it's a total dead end. Sorry.
Well, I really did like the detail of that people are going to come search the house tomorrow, and so therefore make all the kids Naruto run into the forest. Right. And then come back, clean up the house, make it presentable, and do all that. She did stage everything, and that makes sense.
Yeah. That's true. I mean, there were those details, sometimes not until towards the end of the movie,
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean, even in the opening thing, when they showed that people were interviewing Alex, and you only see the parents from the back end, and but the red wig is so particular. It did stand out of like, there's something weird there, at least. Maybe it was just that mom was going to be an absolute smoke show, but no. It was weird. It stood out on the screen.
I mean, she's perfectly fine looking for a zombie, so yeah.
Why was her makeup so bad?
Because she was probably looks like a walking corpse.
Yeah.
Generally speaking.
The application was bad.
Right.
And she got a very satisfying death. I appreciate the fact that she gathered enough energy to run that long and then get torn apart by like 17 kids.
So funny. I think I commented to my buddy, I was like, I would have been dead by now. Like, I would have already been caught. Like, I'm not like foreign to running and whatever, but like that chick ran for like 2 miles, I was like, maybe just, she was that terrified for her life, but she ran screaming for what felt like 2 miles before they finally caught up to her.
She did eat the life energy of a lot of people.
That's true.
Yeah, she had 17 kids worth of energy in her to get through a couple of houses.
Sure.
But then when Josh Brolin is retracing the steps, it's like, it's what, 3-4 houses? And then, I mean, yeah, it's a long distance. It can, relatively speaking.
Yeah, the first house that was destroyed, and the parents are freaking out, and there's glass everywhere, and find her shoe, and there's another man.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, just the kids taking the GPS direct route, no matter what was in the way. It was just
fantastic.
wild. I was like, oh.
Yeah. Yep.
And it was a decent enough way to be like, so the opening narration's talking about how the town found out about this stuff, and it's like, it's not a huge amount of people, but that's a lot of people to see that event take place. That you're not just dealing with the problem of, hey, where did these kids come from? Hey, we it's Julie Garner and Josh Brolin found them, and that's not going to raise any alarms. It's like, no, there's 4 or 5 houses they went through, and then whoever would have seen it from the outside.
Right. Yeah. Well, that, and I want to say, like, I at least got the impression from the narration that it was like they never found the kids, and it was like, I mean, they kind of found the kids in the literal sense,
they did say that.
Yeah, I think they're doing the certain point of view thing. It's like, well, the kids are they're not there anymore. I mean, they're starting to recover, some of them. but like
Sure.
the kids as they were are just gone.
Sure. Yeah.
Which I mean, yeah, you could
the
play
little
with it.
girl is
It's a
Obi-Wan
little
Kenobi.
cheeky.
Got it. Yeah.
It's like Alex's parents are still getting soup fed to them not by him. It's like, wow.
Well, that, I mean, if we're going to talk about that, I want to highlight it because I felt like it was such a powerful scene to me, right? And even more so because it's like you see mom coming at you shining style through the bathroom door and you are out of rooms to run and you are hunkered down and you're like, man, I really hope they catch that bitch soon because like mom's gonna eat me. And then as soon as it breaks, and I think it's Archer, Josh Brolin's character finds him in the bathroom with them hugging him. And so it's like there's not really any implication to say they fully recovered or whatever either way, but it's like for being the first two people taken, you'd think they'd be the worst off. And so it's like, whatever, but it doesn't get covered whether or not the parents make a full recovery or not, right? But
well, it seems like they did. I mean, because
potentially
Julie Garner finds him because Brolin goes after his kid.
That's right. Okay.
But yeah, so when at the end narration where it's like, he's living with another aunt now, but this one's nice, and his parents are still getting fed soup, but not by him. It's like I don't think they're coming back.
That's fair. Yeah. All right. So they turned into love zombies at the end instead of,
Well, they turned into like Neville's parents, from Harry Potter. It's like they're gone. Their minds are gone.
Neville's parents were able to at least give him candy wrappers.
And kids, this is why we decapitate warlocks. I'm just saying, like, psychic trauma is real trauma. So,
Yeah, we don't
can't
let
just
them
use
get promoted to the Winter Lady.
Right. So
I don't make the rules. Merlin did.
Right.
Sounds like a real bastard.
Yeah. So when they inevitably make a sequel out of this,
yeah,
you think so?
Of course.
Like, God, I hope
it was too successful.
Sniffing around.
It doesn't matter. It'll be bad. That's my point. Like, they can't ever let these things be, especially in horror. Horror is too cheap and has too much of a profit margin in general that even the bad ones make money most of the time.
How many Horcruxes did she make? So.
Right. Like, you could maybe do a prequel with it. I wouldn't. You could maybe do a prequel.
Sure.
But
the prequel has more play than a sequel.
Sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, she's kind of goo on the ground. Like, it would just be a whole nother witch or a whole nother whatever.
Exactly. Don't bring
get into the magic, like make it a period piece of like the, I don't know, 50s or whenever people still got consumption and just like
well, that was kind of the implication in the trivia was like, yeah, they haven't called it consumption for like 100 years. So, like it implies she was potentially several hundred years old. So you've got plenty of room to do the whole, she's an old witch. Let's do a prequel.
Yeah, that would be an interesting as to how their relationship was with the mother. It's like, did she really think she was her sister, or did she just?
I think the mother thought she was that Alex's mother said that her mother would have taken care of her aunt, and so maybe her mother was the youngest sister of the witch. I don't know what that qualifies.
Okay, so she was supposed to be a great aunt, not her.
I think so. Yeah.
Right, and that could be that's plausible at least, right? Where it's just like she's an aunt,
right? Yeah, you just
45 times removed, So,
yeah,
but yeah, because it's like even like my grandmother, my kid's great grandmother, right? We just call her grandma, like
right.
Occasionally we do grandma great, whatever, but it's like nope, she's just your third grandma, so But, yeah, you guys figured it out though. That was the linchpin of the whole movie. Just kidding. So, yeah. I mean,
I also appreciated the conversation on the way to school, like between him and his dad. It's like, yeah, we don't really want this, but what are we gonna do?
Right. Yeah.
Oh well, sad for them.
Yeah, what you're gonna do is get a whole classroom of kids devoured. That's what you're gonna do. So
yeah, she could have been more clever about it. Stealing an entire room of kids
right
does get a lot of attention. I mean, was this a play because she was that desperate, because she thought she was that close to dying or in pain or whatever?
Well, it's also,
but it got a lot of attention.
Alex's ability to get all their stuff is easier than sneaking into other people's classrooms and then potentially getting caught that way.
I mean, sure, but she did also tell him, get something from every kid in your class.
Right.
She followed.
Yeah, I wouldn't have done them all in one shot.
Yeah, that's another one too. Yeah.
I mean, she could do the creepy Airbnb thing. She didn't have to go after kids.
Right.
Well, they're the youngest. They got the most life force. I mean, depending on what she needs it for, like if this is a youth thing or just a vitality thing, either way, that's why the witches tend to go for kids, right? The youth, the innocence, the vitality. It's like it's one big package of what you need to keep your evil corpsey body going.
So in typical fashion, we'd be better bad guys, okay? But for this story, like we needed her to make some mistakes, right? And the heroes to be clever and figure her out and whatever.
It's fine for her to make mistakes, especially if she's that old and she's a traditionalist. I mean, she
didn't know Ring cameras existed.
Sure, yeah. And that's what I'm saying. It's not, Airbnb, like what a great idea and everything, but does she know about the internet? And does she know that it's on computers now? So,
Also, I think eventually if people keep coming to your Airbnb and then disappearing, then like you're going to get a rep. You're going to get a rep. You may not get a Google review rep, but you're going to get a rep.
I don't just go watch Barbarian. It's not as good as Weapons, but it is. I don't know. Give you a couple of thoughts about it.
Okay, good.
Duly noted.
It's decent enough. I don't regret watching it. But Airbnb is a plot point to there. But the Ring camera thing, I did find interesting. I appreciate when settings take advantage of including new technology as problems and/or problem solving.
Right. The Ring cameras, you're saying?
Yeah. I guess I do. Like, why did it take Josh Brolin to put these things together of like where they're going in the direction and not the police? Like, that didn't seem to be a crazy idea.
Right. I mean, yeah, maybe the police just write it off as like, so your kids run out of their house on their own. They're not being coaxed out. They didn't get taken maliciously. They run in all different directions as far as the police are concerned, and then just never think about it. And then, I mean, honestly, it only even occurs to Archer because of his nightmare, right? Because he follows his kid and there's like a lightning flash and he's like, oh shit, there's a tower right there. Even though he opens the door every single day, he opens the door and sees that tower. So he's blind to it maybe, but in the lightning flash, he's like, oh wait, shit. Maybe they all ran the same direction. And that's when he starts canvassing the town and is like, hey, can I see I know it sucks and nobody loves doing this, but do you mind if I see your video or whatever? My favorite part of that is watching that second time. One of the details was that he didn't go to somebody else's house. He fucking waited for the husband to come home and ambushed the husband. And I was like, that's a dick move. But I didn't realize that the wife being all pissed off in the background was the same fucking wife. And I'm like, now she's mad twice, but that was funny. But he just ambushes that kid and was like, show me your video.
Archer's kind of an asshole and it's okay.
But he's a competent asshole other than, being typically depressed because his kid ran off. He's got all those classical things, but once he got his teeth into it, he was like, yeah, I can do some things. I can draw lines on maps.
A little lucky that there were no Ring cameras like on Alex's block. Once they start to coalesce.
True.
Like nobody on that block had a video camera, or even on the preceding blocks where they're starting to like turn onto it or anything.
So true.
Like the Ring, I appreciate the camera stuff as a setup and everything, but it's like nowadays a lot of people have them, and those things are very much based on movement, even at a decent distance. And like somewhere is going to catch a couple of those kids running by.
Right.
And while that's true, if they didn't have a kid go missing, they might not have ever thought to look.
It's fair,
Yeah.
But the Ring being the way that it is, right? If they had been close enough to trigger the camera,
right, you get a notification for those kind of things.
Exactly.
Now, there are plenty of people who wouldn't check anyway because they just assume it's a cat or some stupid shit.
Right.
Or they don't care. There's plenty of ways to, like, you could have even thrown in one where it's like a parent got it and it's like, yeah, this thing's going off all the time. What are you talking about? I don't care.
Sure.
But
that's one of those throwaway lines that we don't need, though, E.g. We can just fill in those gaps.
Some you do, some you don't. Or some
gotta keep them guessing.
Right?
Like, we didn't need the black vomit, but we got it. So now we have to deal with it.
Right. Yeah.
I want to talk about Paul and James, the cop and the addict.
Okay.
Their stories were, Paul's kind of an asshole. They're all kind of scumbags somewhere. But I mean, the way that his story also branches into Justine's, obviously it does. But like when she goes into the liquor store again, and the woman is following her,
yes,
and it's his wife, girlfriend, whoever,
right.
And it wasn't anything to do with the kids, and it was just, you got him drunk, you fucked him, how dare you? And it's just like the domestic level, problems,
right?
To be fair, I actually think she was mostly innocent, and that he said they were not together.
Sure.
Getting him to drink though was not cool when she knows he's an alcoholic.
Yeah, if she knows that he's on recovery, like I said, Justine's a mess, right? I'm not hailing her as like some virtuous anything, right? But yeah, like she's also fucking oblivious because, for somebody who's running around town it was like that bitch chased you for 50 feet and you didn't have any idea. Like, you got to get your sixth sense going. You could feel the hate on that woman.
She was probably drunk.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so
that's a lot of vodka. But then Paul working for the cops and played by Toby Huss. I thought that was great because he's fun. But his girlfriend was Donna or something is his daughter. So she says, like, when you see my dad, tell him we'll be there this weekend because he's working with his father-in-law.
Right.
And he's completely fucked by the time that she catches him for cheating and then he gets stabbed by the addict.
Yes.
With needles. It's like, do you have AIDS? I don't think so. He was just like, he had a real bad ending.
Yeah, that dude was having the fucking worst weekend ever, right? Because it starts whatever day they go to the bar, and that's the same day he got stabbed by the junkie. What's his name again? James. So
that was the first one, like the one on the finger.
Right. So that was one day, right? And then they go and hook up, and that's the other thing. It's like, oh, I might have AIDS, better not hook up. No, I was like, Jesus Christ, dude, like that's fucking terrible.
Maybe you can read between the lines, and maybe they used a condom. You don't know.
Yeah, sure. Everything's better then,
I was gonna say those were not people making proper decisions together.
Yeah. I was like, put yourself in her perspective. And when he's like, oh, by the way, I got stabbed by a junkie the next day, and like, maybe I should have mentioned that last night, Yeah. Anyway, so the second scene that I had to pause and rewind because it was such a surprise was when he does get pricked, right? And he just cold clocks James so fucking fast and hard. And like James is like a mannequin when it happens. I was like, Jesus, did they like swap him out for a body double? Because he just fucking socks him right under the chin, just knocks him all the way the fuck out. And I had to rewind it. And I was like, holy crap, because it was such a surprise, it totally makes sense and everything, but it's like
I don't think you should do that when you're a cop.
Obviously.
But I actually get it because like the guy, just like, I got a needle, right? You don't have to lie about it. Doesn't matter. He was gonna find it either way.
And like 3 times, Paul was asking, like, do you have needles? I don't want to get pricked. Do you have needles? Yes. Like 3 times.
Right. And to the character's credit, right, as far as like following procedure and everything, like up to that point, he was doing a really fucking good job for the most part, right? Like, it was interesting. Like he read him his rights and like, hey, shit, I tackled you pretty hard. Are we doing okay? Just like all of that kind of stuff. And I was like, oh yeah, this guy's kind of good. And then he gets pricked, and it's like, whoop, that was it. He's gone.
That's
He's
the
on the
beginning
slip
of
and slide to
the
crazy town.
downwards. Exactly. Good one.
Yeah. Yeah, because after that he's got secrets and lies, and he relapses and just all of this shit, just craziness. But
after he got pricked, and then he went to the station and he told Toby Huss, and they said, okay,
right.
if nothing happens, like he did try to do another thing that he thought was right. Granted, it was still kind of scummy, but it was like he was communicating. This needed a few more steps on the downward spiral.
This close to getting us canceled for a political thing, but I think you guys know the initialism I'm thinking. So,
Yeah.
To me, I was like, yes, he told us captain, thin? But it possibly blue even, so
potentially.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I was like, yes, he did tell his superior and whatever, but the immediate, like, we're going to make sure that this gets swept under the rug if we can, that was like, yeah, again,
it's understandable. It's very human, but as a person, he wasn't stupid, even if he's a scumbag. And I want to apply that to everyone except for Marcus, because Marcus isn't a scumbag, and Alex. Yes.
Your significant other is out on a business trip. You're not separated, and you went to go see your ex-girlfriend. That was pretty fucking stupid. Yeah. So, okay. Were you talking the captain? Or
oh yeah, him too. Yeah, they're all scumbags. The only people who aren't are Marcus and Alex, and Marcus's husband.
Really, we're gonna give the kid the benefit of the doubt?
Yeah, Alex was a hostage. He watched his parents pincushion themselves.
Yeah. I just feel like he had still enough autonomy, potentially that
that pincushion.
Yeah. I always have a tough time with this, right? Because it's like sometimes sacrifices have to be made, and like it's tough that it's your parents, but it's like you got to roll the dice, right? Like, what do you think's going to happen if you don't? That she's going to get what she wants and she's going to leave? Like, that's never how
I would expect an adult to be able to make that rationale and potentially figure. I would hold them more accountable. He's a kid. He really tries his best to.
He fed all of even like Archer's kid was an asshole and a bully, and I liked that was shown of just the kind of flavors of people here. But Alex was still feeding him soup and taking care of him because he was a good kid, and he did try to push on the witch, like, if you get what you want, you'll leave, right.
And witches never lie, as we know.
It's true. Yeah,
she was telling the truth of don't step over the salt.
Yeah, another. He fucking knew though, like that one was calculated. So and he lucked out a little bit on the math, but I was just sitting here thinking, it was like, right, okay, so I got to go have my kids, like read Hansel and Gretel, but they've been watching some knockoff on Netflix. They get it enough, right? So, but yeah, I like to
make sure you have the sit down with them. It's like, listen, if mom and I are ever stabbing ourselves with forks because a witch has enchanted us and she tells you not to tell anyone, you're just gonna have to sacrifice us for the greater good.
Right, for the greater good. So
the greater good.
No, I mean, it's rough because it's like we can't even get to like Gremlins level yet, so let alone like stabbing yourself with a fork thing. Like, my kids are a little young for that still. It's tough to balance, like, protect you from the horrors, give you the tools to like overcome the horrors if they come for you anyway, type of thing. So, but
Gremlins at this point would just be funny to them.
It should be, but like we watched the trailer and they were like, nope, no thanks, so
hey, listen,
but
it's fair.
Okay, like, not to get too Star Trek and whatever, but we've been going through Lower Decks, and so like last night we watched the Moopsy episode, and if anybody knows, then they know, and that was too much. But like, even cuddly monsters apparently can be too terrifying. So, but
so no tribbles, got it.
Well, yeah, that one's mostly just inattention. So, like, I tried to get them with that for April Fools, and it didn't work out. So, but yeah. Yeah, let's see. Right now the challenge I have with my kids is that they definitely have the fight or flight instincts. So it's like, no, I need you to understand that if dad is approached by three dudes that are as big as he may give a fight for it. He is going to lose, but you're gonna fucking run. So that's you. You're not going to be like, oh, cool, I'll just come and start punching him. Like, bros, no, you run. So, like, when you see an agent,
Daddy is not going to win. Daddy is delaying.
Right. So, yeah.
Come on, you got to use those little ankle biters to actually,
no,
go for the ankles.
It's not worth the 1 second distraction.
Go for the eyes.
Yeah, exactly.
They can't reach the eyes. That's the problem.
Right.
That's why ankle biters.
I mean,
go for the Achilles. Listen, we just saw what a bunch of kids could do to a body. So
that's true.
But there were like 30 of them, and she was really
17.
old. So, 17. Yeah.
17 kids versus one old woman who would run like a mile, maybe, and through houses.
Right. Yeah.
I did like the creepiness of like
the doors.
Yeah, she did try to close the doors, even though she should know that it didn't work. But that when Archer finds them and the spell isn't fully broken or something, like the witch isn't controlling them, but they're still just standing around in a circle because what else can they do? Because they're fucked up. Like, it's better that way, I think, than like, oh, they go back to normal. It has a lasting impact.
Yeah, all the screaming after, like.
Yeah, well, it seems like he's the only one that could essentially snap out of it quick because he was under for what, like 5 minutes. I mean, the junkie and the cop were under at least all night and the day. The parents and the kids were all those weeks.
Right. Yeah. They didn't survive for other reasons. So
yeah.
Right.
And I did like the horror of fighting magic zombies and just be like, no, you're going to need to disable them the hard way, right? So where it was just like, oh, cool, I'll just kick his entire ass. No, buddy, that would have worked on, 20 other people, but it is not going to work on this kid. He's just going to keep fucking jumping up and coming after you.
Yeah.
Although it was funny to see him chuck him around like 5 times.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
The Marcus's attack in the gas station and all that, like, as Brolin is trying to stop him and like slamming him into the coolers and everything and getting scrapped up himself. It's like, they're just like, at some point you're going to stop, right? Because you're a normal human being. No. And as she's running around and the gas station attendant just like, stop breaking my store. Just fucking help me.
Right.
Great.
Right. Like, call the police at a minimum. Like, what are you doing?
Well, and when he's driving after him and he's muttering to himself like, this son of a bitch. And then he gets blown away by the car. Right. It's like, oh
yeah. Yeah, it took inhuman levels of damage to break him and smear his brains on the road. That's what it took to break him. So,
well, yeah, you essentially got to destroy the head,
right?
Or
because even
just incapacitate them enough. Like if you cut their legs off, they'd probably still keep coming. They wouldn't get you, but they'd still keep going.
I gotta imagine. In this instance, if they leaked sufficiently, probably would be enough. But nobody did that massive amounts of trauma. Like, I'm not thinking Dead Alive levels of trauma, right? Where it was like even the blood starts like coagulating and coming after you or whatever. But I imagine you'd have to like empty them out to the point where like the plumbing didn't work anymore.
Yeah, like they'd keep crawling miles and miles until they couldn't anymore. Because like even the kid, like you could knock him out. But he does pop back up, and then he just goes back into autopilot mode.
Right. Yeah.
So, like, you could incapacitate them, but you couldn't stop. Like, if they had the ability to wake up again, they're going to try and go after you.
Right. This is why I like the Terminator quote, because it's so versatile. It's like, he doesn't sleep, he doesn't eat, and he will not stop ever until you're dead. Like, that's what you got. Or until you get hit by a car.
If you're going to fight these things, is you need a T-800.
Right. So
at least a T-800.
Long range
T-1000 would not hurt either.
Yeah, T-1000's overkill though. At least the T-800 is kind of like fun.
I mean, the 800 is overkill, but
Yeah, but it's got the like you can at least have the scenes where potentially you're doing damage to it because of the fleshy exo part.
Right. Just smashing people through and just, keep going. But
I mean, I did appreciate
there you go. There's your sequel.
When even she's running away, you could, yes, if you want to do Terminator versus these kids, that's fine.
Versus the kids. How many what third graders can a T-800 fight? All of them.
Fight all of them. Every single one of them without issue.
Right.
I did appreciate how even when she was running away, that basic human quote unquote instincts kicked in. Like, she's closing doors, she's screaming, "Get off me!" She's doing, it's like all the stuff she knows won't work. But what else are you going to do at that point?
Right.
So
I do wonder of the magic system, because if dropping the wand in water dissipates the spell, could she have gotten into a river or something? Would that have affected them?
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, no, I think it would have had to have been the wand at that point.
The wand itself?
Yeah, because that's what she does, right? And Alex has it. So
yeah.
Like, if he'd run it under the sink, sure. But there's no reason for him to do that because he wants her dead or taken care of.
It's so interesting. Like, if there really is nothing else that she can do, cool. If there was other things that she could do, I also want to know. I just like magic.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there was just enough details to put the story on, right? This didn't get the world building and whatever that you would need in a sequel to justify it. So,
Yeah, like, I don't even know if the bell would have been enough at that point, because it seems like the bell is one thing, but once they lock on, like, that seems to be the whole point of this, is they don't stop. It's that's what the spell is designed for, and the only way to dissipate it that we've been shown is the water thing.
Right.
And then once she feels that snap or hears it or whatever, and she's just like, oh, and then just immediately beelines it.
Right. It's just so great. Like, shit. So,
because she knows
that
enough
little
to know
shit.
what that means.
Somewhere they have spliced Run over the top of that, where it's just like all the kids chasing her to the heavy beats. So the snap and then just run.
No, they're gonna put it to an Aha song. They're gonna put, and I ran so far, and like, as this whole progression's going on, couldn't get away, and they're pulling her apart. That'll happen.
Little worried
if it hasn't already.
Okay. Yeah.
It really shouldn't do a sequel. A prequel, like, I mean, if it's done right, but that balance of if it's done right is too much.
Yeah.
And
I mean, maybe the studios would. I kind of doubt this guy would go back to it, but we'll see. I mean, did it make that much money? Like, that's the other thing.
Yeah, it made a pretty good amount of money for a movie like this.
Yeah. It seemed to be the only movie that people were talking about well for a couple of months, and had good reviews that thankfully didn't spoil anything for me, which is great.
$38 million budget, $43 million opening weekend. So it's guaranteed.
That's a good return.
So, yeah. For a horror movie anyway, And
that's what I'm saying. Like, generally, that's why you keep getting the sequels, is they're generally not expensive to make. They tend to at least make their money back. I mean, what was that other terrible horror movie that came out earlier in the year, based on the video game? I don't remember.
Yeah.
But that made its money back and then some.
I watched the sequel to Megan last week.
I'm sure that made money, and that was terrible.
The first one was, a horror movie. The second one was like an action comedy. I mean, I kind of enjoyed how they just flipped the script and made a completely different genre. It wasn't great, but it was fun.
Well, that's how a lot of horror movies go, right? Like, I mean, you start out as horror on Nightmare on Elm Street, and then eventually somewhere down the line you get Freddy versus Jason, Alien versus Predator, and all these kinds of, like,
Alien versus Aliens.
That's what these turn into over enough period of time. You get Busta Rhymes fist fighting Michael Myers. Like, this is just where it goes. Although that I stand by is pure cinema.
I've Freddy, no, Jason, sorry, Freddy, wait, Freddy Krueger, yes, so Freddy, the third movie, Dream Warriors. It's so good. It's not really a horror movie anymore, I think, but it's not really an action comedy either. I don't know. It's so good. I remember that movie very fondly. I rewatched it last year, I think.
I think the third one is still a horror movie. You know, it's a little more. You know, it's not the same as the
or
first
might become the subgenre though, right? You know, where it's like science fiction horror, you know, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, whereas like Jason X is horror science fiction, right? You know, so
Jason X is just funny.
I have not seen that in so many years.
I only know that it's like him in space, like that. It's like
which is all you need to know.
Like, yeah, like I checked out after 2, guys. Like we're way further downstream than I need. Than I made
what I still remember from Jason X is, and I thought this was really cool. And then they beef him up, of course, but it's like how he comes back and it's like, oh, Jason's back in his space, and then they have an android that just like completely demolishes him because it's way stronger than him. But then he gets powered up. But I just loved how I was like, no, you're just gonna get your ass fucking whooped.
Right. Mm-hmm. You are just a dude. Some kind of supernatural dude.
Jason X, Freddy versus Jason. Those kind of movies are always fun. I mean, they're stupid. They're not horror. They're just a bunch of blood and guts everywhere and stupid one-liners.
Horror
but they're
and comedy
fun.
Horror and comedy are very much like I don't know.
Peanut butter and chocolate, they go well together.
It's something like, yeah, they're very, very similar. They're not quite the same, but even in the trivia, Zach Cregger had a lot of jokes that he wanted to put in the movie that didn't land, but he was like determined to make horror and then comedy at the same time, and good on him for taking it out if it didn't work. It's just people have that response. Sometimes it's like a self-soothing response of like, I'm scared as shit. I'm going to make a joke to make myself feel better.
Well, there are plenty of beats in this that are like when he's tossing James around. That's funny. It may not be meant to be funny, but it's amusing to see him throw him around that 5th or 6th time, and you know it's just going to happen again. Or when she's running away from the kids, like you could laugh at
that. Yeah, it's catharsis if nothing else, right? You know, and like I mean, I was talking to same movie buddy and whatever, and he was talking about why he hates Hereditary so much, right? And because Hereditary is so serious and it's such a nightmare the entire time. There's nothing ever to release the tension, and so it's not enjoyable to watch, you know, because it's like it doesn't need to be funny, but you do got to let off the gas somewhere, right? You know,
that is a creative decision. I can respect him for not enjoying it, but I mean, Hereditary for a long time was one of the better horror movies I've ever enjoyed because it really did not let up on it, and in a way that I thought it stuck the landing.
Sure. I mean, it depends on what you're going in there for, because if you're torturing the audience, you know, like there's an element to that, right? But you know, you can't be an 11 the whole time, right? You know, it's like you do got to come down a little bit if you're going to hit new plateaus and, you know, new heights and whatever. But you know,
that's the difference between a lot of like there's a Christopher Lee I mean, there's a bunch of his interviews, but there's one where he talks about how, you know, he doesn't consider what he did horror. It's more like a morality play, because in the end of all his, it's like, well, good wins. That's the whole point of these. These are your typical stories in that regard. But you have your movies like Hereditary and The Exorcist, and like some of the best well-known horror of all time are those movies where the Omen, the good guy doesn't win. Yeah, like there's a whole that's the differentiator of those kinds of horrors versus something like a slasher film or a Dracula film, where it's like you're fighting a thing that you're able to overcome in the end, even at great cost.
Well, and I mean, towards that point though, like in some of those, you don't win, you survive, right? You know, and so like a lot of the slasher flicks, like that's a difference, is like they win, but like that's why they have sequels, is because you didn't really win, you just survived it, you know. And
right, and where the final girl trope comes from, where it's like it's you know, you happen to make it out when the killing machine stopped.
Have any of you read that book, actually, Final Girls Club or support group or whatever?
It's come up a couple of times in my book club to do it.
Yeah, I want to read it, but it's not been on my Netflix for audiobooks thing.
So we did a different Final Girls one. I don't remember what it was called, or maybe it was that one, and there was a different one that I'm thinking of. That we read a Final Girls book of some kind. I just don't remember if it was the Final Girls Club or a different one.
I read this guy. I'm thinking, is it Grady? He's called or something. He also did a Southern Book Club's Guide to Vampire Slaying. I read that one.
That one wasn't very good.
And then I read another one about witches. I think it was. Yeah, witches.
Mm-hmm. I always love critiquing stuff like this because it reminds me of Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer or whatever. And I had a bunch of coworkers go watch the movie, and it was like, I just have one question. Did the president of the United States hit a vampire with an axe? Yes, no, yes. Okay, great. Then the movie delivered, right? Be like, did a Southerner fight a vampire? But it sounds like you got what you wanted on the tin, right? So
listen, I appreciate Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter for what it is, in the same way I appreciate Pride and Prejudice and Zombies for what it's going for. But if you're going to pick a U.S. president to fight zombies, it should have been Teddy Roosevelt, not Lincoln.
I mean, obviously,
I buy Teddy Roosevelt doing that.
Yeah, I mean, they're also
bad choice.
Well, I'm saying they're not mutually exclusive, right? They're different historical points in time. So, like, are all presidents vampire hunters? Really?
No, just Roosevelt. The rest of them are. Well, listen, he had enough on his plate during the Civil War. He didn't need to be doing vampires.
I mean, you don't think Teddy was busy?
No, comparatively, no. He was busy, but no.
Gotcha.
That'd be like asking FDR from his wheelchair to go hunt vampires while World War II was also going on. It's like, come on, some of these guys are a little busier than others.
Right.
All right, we successfully did it.
I can't wait for the sequel.
We made it to the end. Our time. We don't. I mean, we can keep talking, but we don't. We're not obligated to anymore. We have delivered.
I didn't get the notification that we were at the hour. So you're still speaking normally.
This is your notification. Congratulations.
Yeah. I mean, you were still speaking normally, so I didn't know. Like, there was no.
Didn't turn on the robot filter, is what he's making jabs at.
Your microphone didn't fork out yet.
We're not going to look this gift horse in the mouth, and we're going to end without me roboting. How about that?
Okay. Well, I guess we're at the end. I'm sorry, guys. We'll see you next week, though, for some Dresden. I'm pretty sure we're going to go over the Q&A that was posted, right?
Why are you pretty sure of that?
I mean, I haven't heard us talk about it or seen it, so I didn't know. I didn't want to presume. So
we can mention it, but
made it an open question.
I'm not going to transcribe it. I remember a couple of the details, but like about how Anansi is no longer a thing and Black Dresden and all that. But we can get into that next week if you really want to.
Black Dresden Vampire Hunter.
Stop it.
No.
He's a vampire. He's not a vampire hunter.
Yeah, right. Yes. This one's the vampire one.
Either way, you can catch us live at 1 p.m. Eastern every Saturday. You can support us at patreon.com/brokenjars or go to our website, brokenjars.xyz. Leave a like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. That means a lot. And see you next week.